Okay, funny story. When I was going to reload my save file, I saw the location was Spider's Den. I was like, wait, was I in a dungeon? That sums up a lot about this inn. Well, us, hopefully.
My apologies.
Oh, right, yes, we found out last time Heisman doesn't like bugs. It is interesting, like, a lot of people expected Heisman to be like a cute mascot character and then found out that he's actually really not, but he does have some comedic traits, but they're usually, like, they're very different from the kind of, like, I wouldn't say that, like, because I was about to say that it would be, that it's, like, not like the kind of traits that mascot characters typically have, but, like, mascot characters often freak out about things, like bugs and things like that, but, Heisman does it in a way that feels a bit more realistic and less of a silly cartoon mascot way, I guess. Also, fresh fish, we catch them, you buy them. Every time I see somebody mention fresh fish, I think about that. Also, I actually really like these just little candles, just sitting there. Like, I know that it's, like, low-budget, lighting in this place, and I also feel like with all the straw around, those are a major fire hazard, but I do actually kind of like the look of them.
Good night.
Though I've never actually had a candle like that myself. So I should mention, this part is going to be about the Exhibition of the Brave. This is going to be almost entirely story cutscenes, calling it right now. So that's kind of just how things go with a game like this, but they're good story cutscenes. Like, trust me. I mean, you should know that by now.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
So, Flames Day, getting yet closer to Forgiveness Day.
The man sloshed. Again.
I was about to say something similar and then Stroll took the words out of my mouth.
What happened to waiting for our guests? You utter buffoon! Is this why you volunteered to stay behind?
Seems like Joanna and Forden aren't here yet.
Oh, I feared this might happen. And we've no other head to offer the judges. 'Tis a precarious position.
Let's all stay calm, all right?
Ah! I'm going to splash some water on my face.
What?
My sincerest apologies. I wasn't expecting anyone to come in. You see...
And suddenly, Forden jump scare. I should mention, now's not really the best time to be talking about this because, like, this is going to be a very serious scene coming up, but, like, somebody in the comments mentioned that Forden reminds them of a Jack and Daxter character, and I really see that.
How did you come to be here? Explain yourself!
Is something the matter, Forden?
They were here the whole time?
I'm so terribly sorry. We heard the Gauntlet Runner had a washroom, so we thought we'd freshen up a bit. I bathed first and was resting in the back room, contemplating my final day as a Sanctoress.
Sir Nuris over there very decently let us in to wash up.
I couldn't stand it, old thing. Her heart would bring any right-thinking man to tears. Could have run like a ballet thief in the night, but here she is, washing away her sins. It was more than a chap could bear, I say. Needed a drop of the grape and grain just to get myself through it.
The bottle's barely any emptier. Was a drop really all it took to get you drunk?
Note to selves, Nuras has terrible alcohol tolerance.
Oh, please do not blame the poor man. Talking to him has eased my heart for the trials to come. I cannot let myself betray you and regress to my vile delusions. I only sought to atone with myself before my sins are duly punished.
I understand. Thank you for coming. Then, as we agreed, please confess before the crowd when the time comes. To be honest, I'm hesitant to turn you in now you've genuinely decided to repent. I mean, we're hardly icons of virtue ourselves.
Yeah, I think it's actually this line that gets a lot of people mad, but, like, again, this is only one member of your party, and it's more about her desire to repent than it is, you know, completely ignoring everything she did.
In fairness, you're a woman of status, and it'll be a big crowd. We're not looking to instigate a public stoning here. You can explain yourself freely, in your own words. We can't ask anything more than that.
And I suppose whatever happens next happens.
Thank you. Truly, I've felt so much more at peace since last we spoke. The fog has only cleared further, giving me clarity of purpose.
A fog, huh?
Thank you for everything. I do hope you win the throne.
Yes, I intend to.
Whoever the crown goes to, we're at least going to make sure it isn't used for evil.
At last, it seems our preparations are set. We need only trust that our plans will bear fruit.
And now it's time.
Thank you all for waiting. The very first round of the Tournament for the Throne, the Exhibition of the Brave, is about to begin.
Already the start of the third arc, and it's only just the very first round of the tournament. Though, granted, it's hard to say whether this is the start of this arc or the end of the previous one. It's kind of more like the denouement of the previous one.
Our monarchs-to-be will now present to the people the heads they seized to demonstrate their power as worthy of the throne.
I really hope that Roger doesn't channel his inner Shulk and bring the head of a god.
At a later date, when the second round is announced, the faces on the King's Rock, that is to say, the candidates with the top 20 approval ratings, will pass the first round.
20? 'Tis a great many eliminations in but one round.
Yeah, that kind of also, I just can't stop looking at how angry Roger looks here. But yeah, this is basically the reason why our ranks have been climbing so much lately. Sort of plot-wise, we kind of have to be in the top 20 by the end of this part of the story.
I was hoping we'd at least make it through the first, but it might not be that simple.
Of course, it might not matter if we're still able to achieve our goal of getting close to Louise.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your eyes to the lineup of all the gorgeous faces at the judges' table, starting with His and Her Highnesses of Oceania and Montario.
Oh, it's her ladyship. Lord Montario's here too, eh? And the armor on that fellow over there? A general, is he?
And of course, we have the one, the only, the people's favorite, our guest from the Sanctus Church, better known as the Miracle Saint, healer of all ills, presenting the lovely Lady Rella Cygnus.
Absolute peak line coming up.
Saint? Who's this? Someone fill me in. I've been literally living in a hole.
A brilliant healer. We've met, though a long time ago. Even as a student, she was already considered the kingdom's best in her field.
So, we saw Rella in our omniscient observer perspective when she was speaking to Forden's council earlier, but this is the first time the party has been introduced to her presence in the plot. I say that rather than first time I'm meeting her, because obviously Hulkenberg's met her before.
Looks like the crowd's on your side, milady. Can you give us a few words about what's on your mind as you take on the judge's mantle?
Oh boy, I get the feeling that people here are going to be taking that judge mantle a lot more literally than Batlin thinks soon.
Well, I'm afraid you've rather got me on the spot. Hello, all. This city sure has, great seafood. And, well, sea creatures. Fascinating, aren't they? So much we still don't know about them. Oh, I did hear about a legend of some monster in the eastern seas of Oceania. Imagine, the mind races. I'm hoping I can investigate those sightings while I'm here.
That's just great, Lady Rella. I'll just stop you there, clock's ticking and all that, but we're thrilled you're enjoying your stay.
So this is like a Game Awards speech getting cut off by the music. Also, look at all the gestures that she's making there.
Sometimes I can hardly believe you're my sister. Still not much of a public speaker, are you?
And that's our first indicator of that, which wasn't so obvious. Also, yes, Juna got all the charisma in that family.
So she's A saint?
I guess in a way Rella's an example of why I feel like the charisma stat in Dungeons & Dragons is kind of just awkward, because Rella has the charisma in the sense that a lot of other people like her, but she's not a good speaker.
Well, she seems like a nice enough lady.
We'd better stop worrying about her and focus on ourselves. I don't see Luis anywhere, but I bet he's got eyes in the crowd.
And I bet those eyes aren't Glaudel, because he doesn't trust that guy with anything. And honestly, who would?
Now, the time has come. Let the exhibition of the brave begin! First up is a respected gentleman of the church. Godot, the head of the monk soldiers of the Crown Theocracy!
So, already introducing two church people first. Yeah, I see where this competition's biases lie.
I've no taste for needless killing. Therefore, I chose a mark with meat, abundant and edible. After the judging, it will be served in a banquet for the poor.
A stand-up fellow, my good people! Strength and compassion in one package! He's got the crowd on his side right from the start!
Ah yes, the classic good deed, but only doing it as a publicity stunt maneuver. A favourite of many politicians.
Now, is there anyone who can top this?
I can.
And we have a challenger! Second in line is the church's direct opposition, the spearhead of Count Luis's supporters, Glaudel the Black Hound!
One look at the head and I know what you're thinking. Bit small, isn't it? Well, I can bloody well tell you I'm not like this smarmy git who fished up his dinner. I'll tell you what this is. Behold, the head of a hideous human!
Where's your proof? Yes, the young sod's right. How do we know that's really a human?
What drivel? Look at the thing! You think a normal beast could have a face like this?
Probably just made the damn thing yourself.
Oh, useless as ever. Did it never occur to him that the average citizen has never seen a human?
Like, it sort of looks like a Homo Theos, but it also looks a bit more like a bird. It's definitely not like any human we've seen.
Everyone, let's have a little composure, please. Candidate Glaudel, we're very much obliged. You may step down. Now, on to the next.
The size of that thing. Is that the monster of the Eastern Sea?
Someone took the beastie down. Who did the deed?
I'd heard tell of a monster tormenting the people of this beautiful port city. I could do no less than grant them respite from their suffering. Such is the duty of those with power.
Who expected anything less? His Eminence Forden is simply in another class. Suddenly the critics have all gone quiet. All I hear is gratitude.
Forden's trophy is more impressive than I expected. How are we going to make a stronger impression than that?
They'll be fine.
If he'd gone after us, the reaction would mean we'd have been written off no matter what we presented. Let's count ourselves lucky and trust in our strategy.
Yeah, I suppose the order is important, although also, there's also the fact that I get the sense that if he'd gone after us, maybe the reaction would have been a little different. I'll explain that in a moment, but also I'm kind of preoccupied with the fact that that guy near us, that Mustari candidate, we've never even met him before, and yet he's looking pretty prominent in all these scenes.
Now, no dirty looks, you lot. Next is the Pagan Assassin's Prize. Let's see what head we've got now.
Apparently he's an assassin? But his prize was,
Thank you, Candidate Julian, for that helpful, exhaustive, and I think exhausting explanation.
Again, Battler's VA just kills it every single time.
Now, we've had quite a succession up here, but our last is coming up now. This should wrap up our show. Now, if the last candidate, the Elden Boy, would please join us on the stage.
Where's their head?
Your pardon, madam, but would you happen to be the Lady of Martira? Joanna, the Sanctoress?
Indeed. The head they've brought is mine.
The impudence. You dare offer an honored lady of the church before these judges? This is not to be borne.
Godot, maybe hold until you learn what she did.
I've got something to say to you too. That you chief there. Isn't that Heismay? The same damn criminal you were supposed to be chasing?
Yeah, he was there when we picked up that contract.
That's the infamous Heismay. The huge chief of all things.
This. After we saved your hide on the road.
Silence! He may be a former knight, but now he's a heinous criminal who stooped to kidnapping. Anyone who claims themselves his ally should be disqualified on the spot.
Yeah, again, Luis's faction not exactly doing a good job of positioning themselves as champions of the downtrodden by the current system, just saying.
Please, wait. I have something I must confess to you all. You speak of the kidnappings that terrorized my home, Martira. I am here to confess that the true culprit behind those atrocities was me. I was the caretaker of a hideous human in the basement of my castle. And to feed it, I abducted the innocent people of my own city.
What? Absurd. Speak sense, woman.
Master Heismay is innocent in all this. He was framed for crimes performed by my hand and in my name.
And I, Forden, Captain of Martira's Guard Corps, stand to vouch for all that she said.
Just so. It was this young candidate who killed that human, cleared me of the false charges, and dispelled the shadow over Martira.
So, in the manga, the party actually kills the Homo Butera instead of driving it off and offers its head to the competition. I do personally feel this is more dramatic, though.
Thus, here I stand. My head is his to offer.
That's... well, that's quite a turn of events. We have our head, ladies and gentlemen, and it's unlike any we've seen yet.
How is this believable? She's an imposter. She's got to be.
Of course. That, or they're putting words in the poor woman's mouth. A Sanctoress would never.
What will His Eminence Forden do?
The Honorable Master Godot should know whether I and my words can be trusted.
'Tis true to the last word, isn't it?
Yes, Your Eminence. Without question.
Young candidate, you have done well to bring about her repentance. Now, justice must be rendered.
What? Right here and now? Your Eminence, a moment!
Thank you for your concern. But I have no objections. For a sinner like me, to confess the truth to the people has already been more than I deserve. O new king, it is my hope that you will rid the world of its twisted prejudices and common cruelties. Please, lead this country armed with the truth.
I will. I promise.
Well, folks, sometimes that's just how the curtain falls. If Sanctifex Forden turned in the biggest head, then our dark horse here has certainly turned in the heaviest. What an upset, ladies and gents! Who could see this coming?
So, I want to take a moment to just talk about how I feel that Forden is completely screwed in that moment, and he probably knows it. Basically, no option there was good for him. He chose the option of straight up executing her in public without a trial, which clearly does not look good for him. But if he hadn't done that, it might have looked like Sanctism was allowing anybody to get away with crimes as long as they were a high-ranking member of the church. Again, either way, Forden loses face in this situation.
Those crazy kids have done it again.
What a show!
And I'm sure Battler knows that. Okay, we still have a little bit to climb before the top 20.
Forden just departed, wishing everyone well. I suppose he aims to reach Martira before Joanna's confession does.
Although, given the carrier pigeon network there, it probably will. Also, yeah, just the fact that Forden did that, knowing full well that he could get Joanna, who he admires so much, executed, is also speaks a lot to him.
And Forden himself. I hardly expected the man to make himself so visible.
Likely his attempt at redirection. Keeps the blame from falling on him and the church. Can't say it didn't work, I suppose.
Yeah, again, that's the reason why if he'd ignored this, it also would have looked bad.
I'm certainly not blameless in this either. It was my suggestion to make an impression by foregoing the pursuit of a monster's head in favor of a person's.
And in a sense, I don't know, as somebody who's personally against the death penalty, I do actually understand this whole thing. This is part of why there are sometimes ethical issues with, like, murder mysteries that are set in, like, the past when the death penalty still existed in, like, the UK. The idea of, like, turning in somebody for a crime that will get them executed, does that put blood on your hands? Like, it's definitely something that I would think about if I was in Stroll's position.
I guess, but...
Nevertheless, the Lady Joanna entrusted her final wishes to us, and we mustn't betray them. It's all we can do, really.
Not bad, pups.
We were passing on the course of a human hunt. You gave a most distinctive showing.
And I was about to say peak character has arrived, and then Luis entered the scene. I mean, okay, not that Luis isn't a peak character, but, like, morally, definitely no.
I suppose you're worth introducing ourselves to. I'm Fidelio, that's Basilio. Luis's right-hand man, see?
And now you walk with Ujif at your side. Each ally of a different tribe. Fascinating.
Better to have dependable friends than familiar ones. Something we've got in common.
I wouldn't say we exactly had that in common, given that Glodell is the exact opposite of a dependable friend.
Not only did you expose a failing of the Sanctus Church, but you dared to bring her alive so Forden himself could do the grisly part before all his flock.
I mean, really the main reason we did this was because if we had, you know, like, if we'd killed her ourselves and brought her head here, there'd be no proof of it, and then everyone could accuse us of having murdered a random church member just to frame her. It wouldn't have looked good for us.
That was not our intent.
Oh, same idea, yeah? A real person's head gets more eyes on you than some decapitated beast. And now, you're the names on everyone's lips, aren't you?
No. We only righted a wrong.
And you weren't afraid to make an enemy of the church to do it. It's quite a feat for a no-name candidate to so deftly rub Forden's face in the dirt. A wake-up call, I'm sure, for those who only know his honeyed words.
Oh, Lord Luis, we really should be going.
Relax. They're in the middle of a conversation.
I like a show of strength as much as the next girl, but I do so hate violent spectacles. A view from the sky sounds so much more enchanting, don't you think?
So this is what's become of Luis. There was something eerie to him even as a lad, but I'd never expected him to reach such heights.
Huh, interesting. Highesmaid's familiar with him. Being in the Shadow Guard, it would make sense. I don't know, I've always, not to say that, like, people are, like, destined from, like, a young age to become who they were, but I've always kind of liked the trope when you meet a character like this and someone who knew them was like, yeah, I always got a bad vibe from them from the start.
Do you suppose we have his attention?
Last time, he told us we had to demonstrate our power first. I'd like to think that if he went out of his way to talk to us, that's something we earned.
Oh, loves, I've got a message from Count Luis. He says he'll be sending a messenger along soon, so stay in the city, would you?
Wait, hang on. He sent a messenger just to say that he's sending another messenger?
And I have to say, I might not want to let you out of my sight either.
Okay.
Master Luis was just here. What happened?
Once again, Glaudel's lot in life summed up.
Well, he just left. You weren't told?
We'd better be getting back as well.
Damn it. What's so special about those fools?
I just, like, sometimes you gotta have that antagonist who's just absolutely pathetic, and Glaudel is the perfect example of that.
Luis is having a go for Popeye, eh? Are you officially all flunkies in arms now, then?
It might be a trap.
Don't get cold feet now. We knew going in that any plan to win his favor would be dangerous.
We have finally taken the first step in saving His Highness the Prince. If we can get the formula, then we yet have a chance of lifting the curse.
How fares His Highness, anyway? He still fights?
I took a look in the Farsight mirror a while ago. He's still asleep. But nothing's changed about his condition.
And if you got the bad ending of the previous arc, you do know that the prince can't fight this off forever. I'm gonna be showing both the bad endings for the Matera arc, and this one at the same time later on, because they're both very similar in content. And they're also, in my opinion, the least interesting of the bad endings.
And do we know where this formula is?
No, but he's bound to keep it somewhere secret if it's evidence linking him to the assassination. Still, a formula would be useless unless it's within arm's reach for emergencies.
If it's something he'd keep close, then...
It's in his pot. Okay, that's actually... I have to choose this because this sounds hilarious.
Maybe he's engraved it directly on his body.
Yeah, somehow I doubt he'd literally carve incriminating evidence onto his skin. It'd be backwards in a mirror besides. It's more likely to be in his runner.
I like how that's what she's concerned with, the fact that it'd be backwards in a mirror.
Do you really suppose it would be in the runner he uses even today? The incident was near a decade ago.
It's as good a chance as any. Getting inside would be a pain for anyone else, including us.
He said he would send a messenger. Perhaps it would be wise to wait until we've heard his missive.
Good point. Let's just wait for word then.
Yeah, I only learned kind of recently that missive is just like a message or like a letter.
Joanna! A backwater sanctuarist denies me my moment of triumph. She defiles the very church itself.
I mean, like, okay, but also she was, like, kidnapping and, like, killing children, and that's not the part that you're concerned with.
Oh, and naturally it was an elder of all people who stood her before me. Well, that benighted tribe never stopped dogging my heels.
An idea occurs, Your Eminence. For the tournament's next challenge, let us center the competition on a show of piety. Make them prove their Sanctus faith. After all, Sanctism is the state religion. It would be the barest of leaps to suggest that loyalty to the Church is loyalty to the state.
I assume you have a plan?
I mean, I suppose this actually reminds me that I was kind of surprised when I found out about, like, again, going into, like, real-world politics a little bit here, that, like, America explicitly has separation of church and state, and yet religion plays a far bigger role in politics there than it does in many other countries, which was always weird to me. But apparently the whole separation of church and state thing is actually more about keeping the state out of the church and not the other way around.
Altaberry's our next destination. The very seat of the faith outside the capital. I thought we might propose another hunt. This time for relics.
Ah, the so-called divine relics. Those false idols the pagans consider relics of their gods.
What need does the world have for gods beyond ours? Soon, they will talk of nothing but how to win the Sanctus Church's favor. Your Eminence's influence would be sure to reach even greater heights.
And in the pagan lands, the greedier candidates will plunder and pillage for idols as they see fit. Fine footholds for our missionaries, all without getting our hands dirty. The collection of divine relics should be a spectacle held on Saint's Day. Our divine right will be undeniable. Once I take the throne, I will re-establish that these relics originally belonged to the Sanctus Church, and that they were ransacked from us in the course of history.
Your Eminence, on that day, I should be grateful to be honored with a proper title.
Ah, I see. That's why you're doing all this.
Say no more. A concession only fair for the right hand of the Sanctifex.
Ever at your service. You do not bow your head.
Oh, humblest apologies.
Once again, Rella, like, basically stressing that she's, like, the only likable person here.
What troubles you, my child?
Well, my concern would be about the risks involved. Some theories suggest even the royal scepter was originally one of these relics. In the unlikely event that a divine relic were to be found to nullify the king's magic...
If such a relic existed, it would have been found long ago. You burden yourself with such fears. All you need to do is be a good saint. Smile, wave, and bless.
Yeah, so those people who said a dog is happiest on its leash, well, it feels like Rella is basically their leash dog in this case.
Rella, you are to return to the royal capital and gather the people under my banner.
Understood.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.